Are you serious? Are you serious, guys? Get a cup of coffee, everybody. So good to see you. I hope you've had a great Thanksgiving Day. I know we spent it with Heidi's sister and her husband, and then tomorrow, my mom, my dad, Heidi's uncle, and Brock's family, Bart's family, um, all the grandkids, all coming together, coming over to the house, and Heidi's cooking that 28-pound turkey. So that's going to be an amazing time tonight. And I tell you, I am gluten free, no stuffing for me. Wow, no breads. Small, very small piece of cheesecake just because it's a special occasion. No stuffing. Can you imagine? Anyway, let me just say something. I'm very, very saddened by this report because we've been blessed, so many of us, but not everyone is doing as well. And as a matter of fact, there's folks that are hungry all over America. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But first of all, I'd like to put in, I hear a word from our sponsor, and that's www.fighterflare.com. That's www.fighterflare.com. You see, murders in certain parts of the country, like Los Angeles, have really increased. They're up 20%. Now murders across America is up 28%. This is crazy in 2020. It's a dangerous out there, guys. It really is. I mean, you got to take responsibility for this now and take control and watch what you're doing. That's why this fight or flight flashlight is really a great product. Okay, it is super power beam on this thing. Wow. And it's solar powered. You can also tone it down if you don't want it that bright. Okay. And if you need to gather some attention, you can always strobe it. Plus, if you're broke down side of the road in an emergency situation, you can turn it on and all the blue and red and lights go flashing everywhere. I don't want to drive you insane with that. You can charge your phone with a USB port. Isn't that great? Don't have to worry about batteries. This doesn't need any because it's solar powered. It's got a compass. If you get lost on the end here, you screw this off here, a rope comes out. You can tie a rope around here if you need to pull something. If you lose something underneath the car or you drop it between the seats, there's a magnet. You just got, I mean, the thing is so heavy. It's unbelievable. You can just smash. You can break a window out in a car. This thing is unbelievable. It's an incredible product. I have to say, I'm very impressed with it. Just go to www.fighterflare.com. That's www.fighterflare.com. I think you'll be very, very, very glad you did. Comes in this great box. It would make a tremendous, really make a great Christmas gift if you wanted to give it to someone. Just go to www.fighterflight.com. Good to see everybody here, and I really am thankful that it goes a long way. I should read that to you. Someone wants to know how long does it go? I read it somewhere. I'll find it out next time. Okay. But it's incredible. You step outside and shine it, man. We're talking 300, 400 feet. You can still see things way out in the dark. And I know that just from firsthand experience. But let me just say quickly, wow. A little heartbroken over this story, but it's one I think you got to put out there and let people be aware of. Many of us are so thankful and give God all the glory, and we're so thankful to Jesus Christ for so many blessings that he has given us. And he said he would bless us according to his word if we be faithful unto him. But also, we also know Jesus said there would be famines that would hit the world, pestilence, diseases, plagues. There would be earthquakes in diverse places. There would be apocalyptic scenarios of a biblical proportion that would really affect people. And it is happening. Our understanding is actually in parts of the world. We have a breaking news story here right now. This really, really saddens me. Hunger is surging. Food lines in the United States have really unbelievable. I actually have a picture there I show you on the thumbnail of the food lines. Tragic scenes in New York City as a socially distanced Thanksgiving dinner lines are running for blocks. 2 million people are expected to go hungry today in the United States amid unprecedented demand for food banks. And in some states, the food kitchens and soup kitchens are closed due to the shutdowns. Matter of fact, 2 million people are expected to go hungry today. It's an unprecedented demand. Long lines have formed at food banks in New York City on this Thanksgiving Day. There was more people standing in line for food than they were at the Macy Days Parade that was being socially distanced way down. But Thanksgiving Day, a hot holiday meal, hard to find. The Metro, here's what they're saying. Millions of Americans are continuing to line up at food relief centers and soup kitchens and homeless shelters, anywhere they can find some food relief ahead of this Thanksgiving today, and they will all weekend. With the virus, fears are stripping food banks of volunteers even. A staggering 5.6 million people struggled to put enough food on the table in the past week, according to U.S. Census survey data, while an estimated 2 million people in the United States are expected to go hungry just in New York City. Not the whole nation, just New York City. 2 million people. This is unbelievable, guys, what's happening. From New York to California, people are waiting for hours to claim their parcels for the holidays, and celebrities including Snoop Dogg, Tyler Perry, Tracy Morgan, and others are out trying to help, which I'm very thankful to that. There's long lines that have formed outside food bank community kitchens in New York as families continue to struggle under the weight of the shutdowns. 31 restaurants in California closed. No more outdoor dining for the next 3 weeks is going to have a major impact on people getting something to eat. A lot of the homeless especially have nowhere else to go, really. And so it becomes very, very heartbreaking. It's very disturbing. The lines are enormously long. People are really, really hurting. I mean, and so what we're saying is we need to really be in prayer, because I don't know what the plan is. To be quite honest with you, I don't know what the plan is as it relates to our government's response. And Joe Biden, I'm not sure what his plan is on this. We're going to see. But the mandated shutdowns by these governors and by these mayors have forced millions of people onto the streets with nowhere to go, and also put a lot of people out of work that were working in the hospitality industries. And so this is a very sad situation. It's one that we're praying and wondering where the answer is. And so we're going to continue to pray and continue to help as we reach out across everywhere to try to touch those that are in need. And let me just say something right now, that when you look at this, you start wondering, why do they want to raise taxes on an economy that's already struggling for the last 10 months in the midst of these shutdowns? And globally, you're going to see this take place around the world. It's exactly what the Bible says is going to happen. Famines in the land. And that doesn't mean that it doesn't, that the fields are just parched and not able to yield. It means famine for lack of food and water, because the people can't get it. They just can't get it delivered, or they can't because the food system has been disrupted. Or maybe it's just because millions of people have nowhere to go, okay, in this very weird time we're in. To be quite honest with you, it's very, very dangerous. So a lot of prayers are going out. We're very heartbroken about this. And I'm starting to see it when I hear the governor of the mayor of Los Angeles, Eric Garcetti, say he's going to shut the power, and he's shutting the power and the water off on people if they have large gatherings for Thanksgiving. I mean, really, what is that going to do to help prevent it when people can't wash their hands or flush the toilet or clean the sink just because they didn't do exactly as you tell them to do? I mean, we got to have some logical thinking here. Now, one thing has happened. Amy Coney Barrett at the Supreme Court has just ruled that, and this is wonderful, really, that the Governor Cuomo's mandate that he was going to use on shutting down religious facilities, especially the Catholic churches and the Jewish synagogues that were really being targeted there by the governor in New York. The Supreme Court has ruled 5-4 that he can't do that. That you can't just infringe on people's rights to worship. Hello, it's so good. It's so refreshing to actually hear the Supreme Court rule like this. And I'm going to give you this quick update. The Supreme Court is blocking the New York's governor's mansion from enforcing limits on churches. The U.S. Supreme Court issued an injunction last night blocking New York Governor Andrew Cuomo from enforcing a 10 to 25 person occupancy limits on religious institutions, granting the request by the Catholic Diocese of Brooklyn and the synagogue Israel, also in Brooklyn. The state had told the court there was no need to act because the restrictions which were adopted was a way to try to prevent the spread of the virus. And but the court disagreed. They voted 5-4, even though Chief Justice John Roberts voted with the 4 liberal justices, which were Justice Stephen Breyer, Justice Sonia Sotomayor, and Justice Elena Kagan. They all dissented. But because of Amy Coney Barrett now on the court, replacing Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the court still was able to vote 5-4 in favor of protecting the religious rights of the Jewish synagogues and the Catholic diocese, and that means all Christianity, if you will, in New York City and in the whole entire state of New York, that Governor Cuomo cannot put a limit on how many people go to worship, that churches are essential, and that this is unconstitutional. So Amy Coney Barrett, along with Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh, of course, Justice Clarence Thomas, and all of the, so 5-4 vote, and also Alito, all voted that it was unconstitutional for the governor to infringe upon the rights of worship in New York City. And so huge change in the court, 5-4, even with John Roberts going again, doesn't know which side he's on half the time, going with the liberals, instead of it being 6-3, even with him jumping on the other side, it still was 5-4. And if there's one thing that happened in the presidency of Donald Trump, 3 Supreme Court justices that he put on the court, strong conservatives, he absolutely gave a different there's going to be some things that if they try to enforce, if government officials or even legislators try to enforce some ridiculous mandates on the people, there at least is a pushback help coming from the court. So it's very interesting, isn't it? But that's how our Constitution works. That is how our government should work, the checks and balances that you hear so many of them talk about. Well, I want to thank all 1,000 of you here right now. Again, the food lines are getting very large out there. And so if you know someone that you can have over for your Thanksgiving dinner, either maybe you did already today, or maybe you're doing that tomorrow, or maybe Saturday or Sunday, or over throughout the weekends. There's something you can do to help someone that you know is in need. Maybe take some food to an elderly person's home, or a friend or someone you know is alone. Whatever you can do to make a difference with a little bit of love, reaching out with a little bit of love, it will make a difference. I want to thank Mrs. Erickson for your phone call today and for your support. Was greatly appreciated, as well as our brother up there in New Brunswick, Canada. Thank you for your phone call and for your support today. I'm just so glad that there are people out there who truly, truly, all of you who love Jesus Christ. We know that we don't need to be imposed upon for what we don't need to be lectured and imposed upon what we should do. We have enough common sense that let us make our own decisions. Let families discuss it. Let people think it through, and let every person make the decisions of what they feel they're comfortable with, instead of, the draconian, totalitarian type superimposing sometimes upon people. Especially, you can't just start mandating inside the church or the synagogue or any house of worship of any religion, for that matter, under our Constitution. Remember, this is Thanksgiving. We're celebrating. We're having a feast, thanking God for this opportunity to live in a country where we can have freedom to worship. And that's why the Pilgrims wanted to do this. And this is why we do this. We thank God. I mean, people risked their life and died to get on the Mayflower, to get on the different ships that come across the pond, if you will, to this country, to try to reestablish and resettle a place where they could worship God without the infringement upon the state, upon them, mandated upon them. And so all we do is ask, can we just still do this? It was 400 years ago that the Mayflower Compact was signed on November 11th, 1620. It's been 400 years. People came here to have freedom to worship. Thank God the Supreme Court remembered that, following the constitutional authority and our personal right of freedom to assemble and freedom to worship. Let us make the decision what we feel safe and what we want to do, and leave it into the hands of the people, not the politicians. Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're living in the last days. What a great online crowd that's here right now. God bless all of you. Tomorrow I'll get you up to speed on everything, because there's a ton of stuff going on, even in the midst of a Thanksgiving weekend. Are you serious? Praise God. I love all of you. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. God bless. And I did go on a rant I forgot about that. I did go on a pretty 2-minute rant. I got all my frustrations out over at the at the new Apocalypse Watch. You can check that out. It's turning the water off and power on people on Thanksgiving. Seriously?